Coming up, we'll look at the continued impact redlining is having in Omaha.
Then, see how one organization is helping the visually impaired.
Finally, take a look at the impact 2 UNO athletes are having off the field.
All this and more on the Omaha News.
Good afternoon, I'm MJ Atai.
And I'm Connor Schmidt.
This election year, Nebraskans will encounter a new requirement at the polls, voter ID regulations. Reporter Jenna Jansen shows us this year's voting process.
Nebraska is implementing new voter ID regulations for the 2024 United States primary election. The new regulation requires voters to show a valid state ID to cast their vote. This move comes after Nebraska voters cast their ballots in favor of requiring IDs for future elections back in 2022. The acceptable forms of IDs include a Nebraska driver's license, college ID, U.S. passport, and tribal ID. These IDs must feature the voter's name and photo, even if they are expired. Birth certificates and Social Security cards will not be accepted. For those voting early by mail, they can either provide their driver's license or state ID number on the early voting application, include a photocopy of their ID, or include a photocopy of a reasonable impediment certification.
Through educational events, social media posts, and informational sheets like these, the Nebraska Secretary of State Office and county election commissions are working to spread awareness on these new ID regulation laws.
Omaha community members like Emily Rothansel and Ash Toten are raising questions about the efficiency and accessibility of the new regulation.
I completely understand why we would do voter ID, but at the same time, I think birth certificate and Social Security in the past has also worked. So that's why I think it's nice that it's in place, but I also think could cause some problems if people do not have their ID and it's directly on election day.
Introducing voter ID laws kind of restricts who can vote and who can't, and I think getting as many votes as possible is more important.
Douglas County Election Commissioner Brian Cruz says there are exceptions and ways for voters without IDs to cast their votes in the election.
There's other options. One of the other options is you can obtain a free Nebraska state ID if you need one. There's a reasonable impediment certification. So if someone cannot obtain the proper documents to get an ID, or they have a disability or illness, or they have a religious objection, then they can fill out this reasonable impediment certification and they will be allowed to vote without an ID. There are those options out there to ensure that every voter has the opportunity to cast their vote.
The deadline to request a mailed early voting ballot is the second Friday before the election. For those voting in person, you can find a nearby voting location by searching the website www.votedouglascounty.com.
Jenna, on election day, what if a voter shows up to vote and does not have a photo ID or forgets their ID?
Voters who arrive to vote without an ID will be asked to go home to retrieve it and return before the polls close. Otherwise, the voter will be offered a provisional ballot. They can still vote, but they will have to bring an ID to their county election office or before the Tuesday following the election for their vote to count.
Thanks, Jenna.
A form of modern-day segregation known as redlining was made illegal 50 years ago, but it is still a very present issue. In the last 5 years, Omaha has ranked in the top 50 most segregated cities. Reporter Sapphire Bennett has more.
Earlier this year, Omaha received over $100 million specifically for development in North Omaha. This new fund, in addition to many redlining education projects, like the recently premiered Divisible documentary, is a step in the process to end redlining in Omaha. According to the Legal Information Institute, redlining can be defined as a discriminatory practice that consists of the systematic denial of mortgages and other financial services to residents of certain areas based on their race or ethnicity. These denials lead to the lack of investment in entire neighborhoods like North and South Omaha, which only furthers underdevelopment. Preston Love Jr., Executive Director of Black Votes Matter Institute of Community Engagement, says redlining feeds into an ongoing cycle of poverty.
Once you create poverty in a community, if the community is poverty stricken, then it will have other problems because of poverty.
Redlining doesn't just affect homeownership, it spreads into many areas, such as healthcare, education, economics, the highway system, and social justice.
For example, Omaha's highway system was intentionally designed for West Omaha commuters to drive straight through North and South Omaha without any interaction with these neighborhoods. There is not one direct fix to redlining. Director of Divisible documentary Lizzie Barrett says in order to have change, everyone must be involved.
This was a long-term systemic problem. There's not a silver bullet solution to it, and it will take everyone from individuals like you and me to the people with the most authority at governmental and corporate levels to be making conscious decisions about how to undo this.
More opportunities for discussion and education about redlining continue to arise in Omaha. Divisible will be available for viewing at the Benson Film Festival at the end of this month. For the Omaha News, I'm Sapphire Bennett.
Another education opportunity. The Undesign the Redline exhibit is here on campus in room 218 of UNO's Community Engagement Center and will be on display through the end of the semester.
Coming up next on the Omaha News, we'll see how one organization is creating a safe space for the visually impaired.
Then we'll take an in-depth look into how one family is grappling with losing a loved one. Don't go anywhere.
Create, perform, communicate. College of Communication, Fine Arts, and Media.
Nearly 3,000 student athletes competing in 19 varsity sports from 9 institutions. Compete for nationally ranked teams to become academic All-Americans and NCAA champions. Nearly 100,000 students and more than 800,000 alumni celebrate their schools as they rise to reach the summit. The Summit League, where tomorrow's leaders reach the summit today.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha's bookstore is home to more than books. The UNO bookstore accommodates all students' needs with phone and laptop repairs at the iFix UNO station or free residence hall delivery. The bookstore, located in the Millvale Student Center, is full of Maverick merchandise. Find sweatshirts for chilly Nebraska days or cozy UNO mugs for every coffee fix. Shop anytime at unobookstore.com.
We all have a story to share, and we all deserve a place here at UNO where we can share that story and for it to be really heard. We want to welcome you to a new event called Our Stories for our UNO community. We'll celebrate together April 23rd. It'll be a wonderful time at Strauss Performing Arts, and we'll see you at the event, Our Stories. We believe that what makes us unique is going to truly bring us together.
Outlook Nebraska's mission is to positively impact anyone who is blind or visually impaired. Reporter Jerome Bradford takes us inside the organization where the leaders focus on employment, technical support, and a safe community for more than 200 people.
In indoor environments where you hold it literally like a large pencil. Right. Still at your
Ross Politzer wasn't born visually impaired. At 11, he was diagnosed with a rare genetic eye disease that slowly causes vision loss. Although he has no vision in his left eye, he hasn't lost vision in the other.
When I see somebody, if I see somebody's face, I can maybe see their hair and their clothes, but then they just have a blank face. And that's okay though, because I don't want to look at everybody.
Ross shares his sense of humor with his colleagues at Outlook. Community event coordinator Megan Mackey says she slowly lost her vision. Now she educates the public about blindness spectrum and says don't assume that every person with a cane needs help.
If a person's out and about and has the confidence to be traveling out in the world, they probably have a pretty good idea or a pretty good way of managing their skills out there.
There are an estimated 15,000 people in Omaha who live with low or no vision. This is a CCTV. Folks with low vision can use this to read and fill out paperwork. It's created to accommodate any type of reading material which lessens the strain to the eyes. Outlook Nebraska provides resources such as Braille lessons, adaptive technology support, job preparation, and placement advice, and perhaps most importantly, understanding and support. In the United States, more than half of people blind or visually impaired are unemployed. But here at Outlook Nebraska, over 75% of employees on the manufacturing floor and approximately 60% in the establishment overall are blind or low vision. Megan says that they serve nearly 200 blind and visual impaired Nebraskans each year. There is no age limit to those who have access to their services. She says everyone is welcome at Outlook Nebraska.
Now, Megan helps others by planning monthly events like horseback riding, rock climbing, axe throwing, art projects, and other family events. Outlook Nebraska started in early 2000 as a non-profit group producing paper products. Today, they are the largest employer of the blind and visually impaired in Nebraska and the surrounding 7-state region.
Hospice care is often seen as a scary word. This is a time when healthcare providers shift from cure to comfort. They work together to manage symptoms, distress, and spiritual issues. Reporter Dayton and Sarah takes us into the story of a family grieving as one of their own confronts a courageous battle against pancreatic cancer while under hospice care.
Hey, when we going out for sushi?
Do you want to go again?
Well, yeah.
Ann Reno spoke with me just a couple of weeks ago wanting to get sushi. Now she lies in a hospice care facility battling stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and her time with us dwindles to days. Her niece, Donna Higgins, says losing her aunt has served as a reminder of life's unpredictability.
She had always wanted a party for years, and I always thought, oh, we got lots of time. I was always so busy, we got lots of time. And when it boils down to it, we don't have a lot of time.
Ann's sister, Marilyn Plants, emphasizes the importance of expressing love and appreciation to our loved ones regularly because you never truly know when it'll be their last day.
Before they go to sleep, say, I love you. Say, when in the morning, say, I love you. Because it could be the last time you ever do, and you don't know when that's going to be.
The unexpected severity of Ann's cancer has made the grieving process incredibly challenging. For those who are experiencing a loss too, certified grief counselor Lily Weatherall says it's important to surround yourself with loved ones.
That you cannot go through it alone. You need to reach out to support, whether it be family, friends, if your spirituality, your church, or a support group, a therapist who's trained in grief and loss is important too.
Ann Reno's courageous battle against pancreatic cancer serves as a reminder to cherish every moment with loved ones and seek support during times of grief and uncertainty.
Early Monday morning, Ann passed away surrounded by friends and family. Services are pending.
After the break, your latest sports update.
Then, UNO Student Athlete of the Week.
The media landscape is vastly different from the past. Conglomeration and consolidation have changed the skill sets required to succeed. Journalists must not only know how to conduct research, interview, and write stories, but they also have to know how to shoot and edit the stories they tell. Likewise, creative media professionals must know how to interview, research, and write the stories they shoot and edit. In the School of Communication, we require students to gain experience and proficiencies employers are seeking. The two hardest mediated genres to produce are live sports and newscasts. Thus, once our students are taught the basics, they are given opportunities to improve the abilities at these genres. Capstones 1 and 2 feature the culmination of skill sets. Once students produce the Omaha News, they can use it in their demo reel to show their skills. From here, students can go anywhere.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime.
Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it.
Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
This is Omaha Sports, where we will share the latest scores, sports, triumphs, and stories you won't see anywhere else. Good afternoon, I'm JL Johnson. First up, a recap of this week's sports. In hockey news, forward Brock Bremer and centerman Jimmy Glenn will both be back for the Mavericks next season. Over the weekend, the Mavericks baseball team won its second straight series against St. Thomas. And lastly, on senior day, the women's tennis team won 4-3 in a close matchup against St. Thomas. This week's spotlighted athletes come from the softball diamond, and I take you to get to know the players off the field.
Softball upperclassmen Olivia Aiden and Rylan Ewalt teach at an after-school program called Spark Positivity. Terry Reinheimer, the founder of the program, says she knows student athletes are great role models for the kids.
To athletes and being very, very hard workers, yeah, there's no word slack in their vocabulary. So we just knew that they would be wonderful and really bring that passion like they have on the softball field into Spark.
Aiden grew up watching her mom teach and was always involved in sports. She realized those two foundations have shaped her own characteristics now.
And I quickly saw that those two things have gone hand in hand with just being a leader on the field while also leading a classroom. And I think that goes back to empathy. And I think that just goes back to honestly being, a person that shares positivity and, they focus on the good.
Ewalt says she has always wanted to be a teacher, but it wasn't until college where she found her love for fitness.
Being an athlete, you're constantly around physical activity and nutrition and all of that, and I just would love to be able to teach kids about physical education and just fitness and stuff.
Aiden says that among her 4 years here being a Maverick, she has learned skills that go beyond just playing at the field and being in the classroom.
Representing yourself in a way that they can look up to you in a positive way. They can learn from, your please and thank yous or just your kindness. I think that can go a long ways. And I think that is one of the major things that I've learned throughout my 4 years of being in education so far.
The athletes took their positions at the program when their season started in February. Ewald says amongst the chaos, she still beams for Spark.
Being an athlete is super tiring, but I think on Wednesdays there's just this extra level of excitement knowing that I get to come here after and be able to work with these kids and do these fun activities.
Both Aiden and Ewalt agree being a part of this program will benefit them in their future careers.
It's amazing to see what the athletes are doing in the community in Omaha. The softball team will be traveling to Vermillion, South Dakota this week. And that's your sports for this week. I'm JL Johnson. Thanks for following along with us as we've delivered your sports updates throughout the semester.
There's a unique educational experience right here in Omaha. With access to top-rated programs, in-demand degrees, and a worldwide community of graduates, UNO prepares students for life, wherever it may lead. From Omaha to Italy to Uganda to Japan, Mavericks are working in communities around the globe. So where will a degree from UNO take you? UNO, access to exceptional, access to the world. Learn more at unomaha.edu.
Coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Faded press to a full.
Spring has made its way into the metro, and so has the Spring Festival, which is an arts and crafts fair. Reporter Peyton Hallebeck follows the story.
The Spring Festival has officially set up shop in the Omaha Metro. The craft fair, which originated in Omaha, has been held for over 40 years. Organizers of the festival said their mission was to bring together artists and crafters of unique talents. Local business The Colored Petal says their business took root 3 years ago when they were looking for a way to make art out of adversity.
So my husband, he was a recovering alcoholic, and I was somebody who came from a crazy life with crazy family and just really a lot of abuse. So my husband and I were like, we should create something where we can invite other people who've had crazy pasts like that, where we can help educate them and learn how to make something beautiful with their lives.
According to event organizers, the Spring Festival has already sold over 12,000 tickets for the Omaha weekend. Their festival brings over 250 unique vendors to the metro area, coming from over 30 different states.
Yeah, having a 3-day show is a big deal because you're able to be in one place. You get all these people coming at once to come and see your product, which is really nice. It does really help business, just because you do have just thousands of people coming past your booth over the weekend. So.
Local Business 11-3 says this is their busiest event of the spring-summer season. Before the first festival day was over, they had already made 22 transactions with an average of $29 spent. According to Sveta Chowdhury of Bath Body and Candle, the Spring Festival is also a great event for vendors who are just starting out to get their business out there. She says there's never been a better time for people with hobbies and skills to start a business because there's always people wanting to buy local goods. For the Omaha News, I'm Peyton Hallebeck.
The Spring Festival will return to the Metro in November for their fall rendition.
A solar eclipse has traversed North America. Omahans joined others in the country to witness the celestial show on Monday. The solar eclipse covered about 80% of the sun in Omaha at 1:55 p.m. on Monday. Students and faculty at the University of Nebraska at Omaha gathered around campus to see it. Spectators put their glasses against their phones. Others laid down on the grass to get a better view. The next solar eclipse will not be visible in the United States until August 22, 2044. Omaha will see a partial solar eclipse on that day. The solar eclipse will only happen in totality over parts of North Dakota and Montana.
The Union for Contemporary Arts in Omaha has opened their Populous Fund for 2024. Reporter MJ Atai says that funding will be available for artists living in 35 counties around the Omaha metro area.
The Union for Contemporary Arts Populous Fund will grant $10,000 to 6 artists or artist groups. Events and project manager and one of the leads of the fund, Kat Fackler, says the union's goal is to help projects that deal with community needs and work with the public.
It really feels like an extension of our mission to encourage artists to connect with community in a positive way and create things that are accessible to the public and are accessible to people.
Fackler encourages artists who have doubts about applying to follow what is exciting to them. Fackler says they will have a better chance of their unique vision coming through.
2022 fund recipient Oria Simonini works in small-scale paintings and murals. An example of her work done in collaboration with the North Omaha community and another fund recipient can be found on 3703 Florence Boulevard at Cadence Corner.
Simonini used her grant money to create sister murals in Schuyler, Nebraska and Santiago Zacatepec, Guatemala. Simonini says she worked with students and community members in each location.
The focus of my
work is really with like the idea of migration, but also what it means, for instance, when someone moves to another country, their absence in their home country.
Applications for the fund close on April 28th. Winners will be notified in early June and announced to the public on July 12th.
Patterns for me. So
the union is holding application feedback sessions this week and next with union staff who will provide advice on creating artist statements and project proposals.
It's pothole season in Omaha, and road crews are already working to fix the damage caused by the seasonal freeze-thaw cycle. However, according to the Department of Transportation, the deterioration of Omaha streets is more internal. Silica in Platte River gravel and alkali in Portland cement reacts in a way that creates gel beneath the surface. This gel then expands when exposed to moisture like winter snow or summer rainstorms, creating cracks in the pavement's joints. It's that reaction that causes the roads to have a significantly reduced lifespan, to the point where concrete poured decades earlier is in better condition than newer roads. Local auto shop owner Zach Haver says it's in motorists' best interest to make sure they're paying attention to the road.
But preparing so that way your suspension and ball joints, wheels, and tires are in proper condition to be able to most likely survive an impact like that.
As always, any Omaha resident can report new or problematic potholes to Mayor Stothart's hotline. That's all for today.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at UNO, the Omaha News, or find us on our website for even more news and stories at unomahanews.com.
From all of us here at UNO Television, thanks for following along with us throughout the semester.
For me, it's about understanding the process of communication and what we learn through that process.
So something that you'll find within the School of Communication graduate program is that there is such a rich field of expertise.
I can think of no other discipline where we spend so much time focusing on not just one side of the conversation, but all sides of the conversation.
Not only do you get to work closely with other graduate students that come from all different walks of life, but you get to learn from graduate faculty that take those perspectives and help you grow yourself in a way that teaches you to be an academic, but also lets you be you in a really unique way.
I chose UNO very specifically, not just because I live here, I'm proud to represent here, but because I thought their program offered strengths that I didn't see in other programs.